Hi, everyone. We're live, and we are just now waiting for Manic Magic. And of course, he's in Australia, and I think it's like really early in the morning, isn't it, for them when we come on at night?
Oh, so sorry.
I think it is. So we're going to be giving Manic a little bit of time, and hopefully, I didn't mess up the timing because I've been known to do that upon occasion. Do not laugh at me, Roger. But I was watching all of Manic's stuff. I mean, he's got a lot of stuff in his history. Oh, what a nice guy. So I'm hoping he's going to be on. If not, we'll figure something out. Oh, he wrote me a very long message, and I have been, hey, in the House Records, how you doing? Oh, hey, Canadian Joan Hab. Hey. Hey, Starcap, how you doing? Double A, how you doing? Anthony Benson, how are you doing? I'm gonna go and see your. Oh, hey, Anthony.
Hey, Double A, how you doing? Star
Cool.
Cop. Up
Oh,
in the
nice.
house. Records.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I had that. I had Anthony Benson. Let me go add
3D
him.
printing,
Hey,
homie.
Stevie. You're a
Heath, how you
friend of
doing?
Rogers? Nice. Well, I'm supporting your channel now, Anthony. I just went and checked your channel out. I always have to check them out. It's best anyway. So now we are just waiting for Trevor. And one of the problems that we know is when we talk to people in Australia, that's our manicus. They're on totally different time zones than us. So we'll have to give them a little bit of time. So how y'all doing tonight? I'm so excited. Manic sent me, like I was saying, this really huge, long, well, I've received longer ones, but a great thing. Hey, 3D printing Heath, how you doing, my darling? Yeah, Centroid.
Hey, Centroid.
Hi, how are you? Yeah, I'm just waiting for Manic. Got some art questions for him too. I guess he's quite the artist. I've been looking at his stuff. So, have all the only thing you've been doing all day is running around the house, Roger, screaming, I passed my test, I passed my test. As you all know, we are in, we have some brilliance going on here because Roger passed his test for his drone license.
Centroid Ariel in the house. Yeah, I got some nice t-shirts from Centroid today.
Yeah, can I see?
Hey? Can you see?
I want to see it.
This is the t-shirt I got.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, really nice. Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
I saw that, but I didn't know where it was from, I don't think.
Okay, these are from Centroid Ariel.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice, Centroid. Yes.
Manic Magic.
Hey,
there he is.
Hey, Rob Random. How you doing? So, Manic, are you going to be coming on the big screen? I'm here. We'll give you a few minutes to set everything up and come on up, yeah?
Rob Random. Okay, I got Rob Random, yeah.
Okay, we'll give you some time. Or just keep talking about how brilliant Roger is for passing and getting his license.
Oh, brilliant. Don't make me blush.
I tell you, when I go to do my 107, I'm calling you, Roger, to help me. Hey, old guy with the drone, Mitch, how you doing?
Manic sister invited him in.
Oh, I did invite you. Did it not work? I sent you an email. Should I? How do you do it, Roger, where it comes to me the way you do it?
It works different with you. I don't know why, but the other people, I just send them an email and they click on the link. Like you, when you sent me an email, I just clicked on the link.
Yeah, that's what I do. I always send you.
But when I email it, when I send you the invite, I go where that little man is. I don't have it here on now. I go where that little man is. I click on it and I put your email in there. Then I invite you in.
Oh, okay,
Phantom
Trevor.
Hodges, how you doing?
I'm
Corey
good, Trevor.
I'll let Val do her thing to get Manic Magic in there, and I'll say hi to everybody. Star Cop's in the house. Farmer JT, how you doing?
There we go. Okay.
Centroid. Don't get me in trouble, Centroid.
Centroid, what are you doing? I don't know what that is. Farmer JT, how are you? You're new here, are you? Do you have him?
Yep.
So I just made him a
JT.
moderator.
You talking about Farmer JT?
Yeah.
Yes. He does lots of live streams. He's a young lad.
Oh, nice.
Farm. He does lots of things on the farm, and he flies drones too.
Wow. Yeah. Manic, did you get the invite, or should I try to get Farmer, my friend? Yeah.
Phantom Hodges, I'm working off of Val's live stream, so that's probably why I'm coming in clear. I don't know.
Invite.
It's probably because of the lighting also.
You're very clear, Roger. Very clear. Okay, Manic, I've sent you all kinds of invites. So check everywhere. So we get you in here for sure. And tell me right away if it doesn't work. Anthony Benson, how you been? Oh, Phantom Hodge, just drones. How are you? Roger, change something. Yeah, see, very clear. I think he's bouncing off my internet now. Maybe that's why.
Oh, Manic Magic's in the house.
Oh, I see some magic happening.
Showing
Hey,
about
Carpenter Rick. Sorry.
How you doing?
You.
Paul Murray's in the house.
Hey, my friend.
There you go.
Hey, Roger. Do you see that top he's wearing?
Yep, that T-shirt.
He's not moving, so I'm hoping. Oh, there you go.
You got me?
I gotcha.
How are you?
There we go. Now I got Roger again. How you doing, Manic?
Oh, I'm going awesome. Am I having...
Oops. Got a little problem.
Yeah.
I was just doing a test with Farmer T there, and it was all working good just before I got onto the stream.
Okay, so there is a little lag, Manic. There's a little bit of lag, but I think we're still going to be okay.
I think you might have to click out and come back in.
If it doesn't quite work out, I can try to refresh as well, which can help.
Okay. You may have to try that because I hear your voice, but your lips aren't moving. Hey Russ, how you doing? It's the one and only Trev in slow motion.
Terrence Jedi, Trent, because I'll go to your channel or make sure I got you. Yes, I do.
Penguin. Yeah, you have Trans Jedi, don't you?
I have them. Yep.
Yeah. We're just giving Manic a little time to do his thing over there. It's going to be a lot of fun.
If you can hear me.
Another Manic talent.
What you should do, I think, Manic Magic is close down your screen and come back. Click back on the close off your screen, come back. In other words, the link should still work. You're frozen right now.
Yeah, go ahead and click out and come back, and we'll wait for you.
Yep.
Hey, Penguin, how you doing, darling? Ventriloquism. We experienced some technical difficulties and by what we're expecting.
And Roxy's hard to work out it.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. We are. I want you to know I went through the Manic channel today. Very interesting. I trimmed your wicks and waxed the candles. Right. Hey, Manic, have you gone out and come back in?
Hey, Penguin, how you doing?
Yeah, I think he's coming closer to working. Great progress. Nice. Nice. I think it's all a thing of how. Let's see. See that? Checking mine too, making sure I'm on the right one. I am. Fevers and Sissy. Fevers and Sissy. I think I know you, don't I? I do. Oh yeah, with the kitty cat. Yes. How you doing, Fevers? Okay, so there's only a few rules on my channel. There's go ahead and say them, Roger. I can't remember.
No politics, no foul language, and no racist remarks.
Yeah, no religion. I mean, we can talk and say, stuff, God and you, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, Hell's Pond, how you doing?
Hell's Pond.
Yep, he comes on our channel.
I know I've seen him. I think I have him. Okay, Manic, how you doing?
Well, can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay, so Russ is saying to go on options, click on bandwidth, and set to the lowest.
Where's the options?
Where's the options? Huh?
Is that in settings?
Yes. Hey, Midwest Jones, how you doing, darling? Add you. And so let me know when you're able to do that. I'm going to go ahead and switch off. So right now we are having technical difficulties. We're getting Manic all set up so we can do this interview. Very interesting guy. As soon as we get it set up, it's going to be great, huh, Roger?
Yep. Midwest Jones, how you doing? Johnny Butt Northwest, Anthony Benson, Rolex, drone channel. Sorry to see that video there, Rolex, about you losing your drone.
Right, that was gut wrenching.
Yeah.
Ice. Okay, so I'm gonna ask Manic a couple questions. Hey, Manic, did you see where settings are? So if you take your mouse to the top of the Google Hangouts, you'll see a person, you'll see see a microphone, a camera, and then you're gonna see a gear for settings. And that's where you're gonna want to go. Hey, Roland.
Centroid area. Did you have problems this afternoon with your live stream?
So Manic, you gotta talk to me, honey.
Gutsy Gear, how you doing? Asgard Studios.
Yeah. Do you see where it is, Manic?
Johnny Boat Northwest is saying something there, Val.
It will show where you can mute mic video, and then bandwidth is the increasing bars. Do you see that, Manic? I can't hear you talking. Somehow we lost voice now. Hey, back from the sky. So
Mark's live stream went great. 26 likes and 166 views. That's cool.
wow.
Very good. Back from the sky. How you doing?
Wonder if I do have all my stuff here. So we're gonna keep going. I'm not sure if you popped out chat, Ross. They can hear what you're saying.
Thank you, Star Cop. Yeah, too many cooks in the kitchen. Yeah.
Hey, doing effects with Claude. How you doing? Yeah. Unfortunately, I had to work all day. I would have been already on this.
Yeah, this is my permit, guys. I finally got my license. Yeah. I'm legal. I'm legal. Well, I know a lot of people don't want to get it, but I got it because I got just, you know, just to keep people off my heels. Drone effects, yes.
Why not get it? Get it all set up. That's what I would do anyway. I think you're right in doing that, Roger. Get it all done.
Yeah. Phantom Otters, thank you very much. Roger, that was a live stream, was only a test. Okay.
Yeah, I saw another test. I think who did it? Russ did a test the other day. Yeah. Hey, let me try that. Why is Manic all black? Manic? Manic, can you hear me? Shake your head if you can hear me. Wave your hands. Two jazz hands if you can hear me.
Thank you, joining about Northwest. Yes. Hey, Newfound Drone Productions. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure he can hear me now. You can? Okay, you want me to screen share and show you how to decrease bandwidth? Okay, Manic. Can you see me? Manic? Do you see these things right here? This one is adjust bandwidth. So if you hit this one, it'll let you do it. Just move this down to the lowest position, right? And it's right here with this. Okay? Okay. I'm not sure. Let's see.
Where did I hide the answers?
Oh, you're good at bad now, Rolex. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. We're not really getting it going yet, are we? Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Midwest Drones.
So I will have to bring up a different topic about Roger.
Good night, Rolex.
That round thing above your head, it freaks me out.
That?
Yeah. Looks like a noose or something. It freaks me out. I think you need to change that. Manic went out. He'll come back in. I'm sure it'll be good. Hey, Rolex. I'm sorry this wasn't working straight up. Carpenter, hey.
Roger.
Yeah. Hey, Roger, when you took the test, do you have to know how to fly a helicopter?
Oh, they do. They do have helicopter questions in it. Yeah.
Thank you, Russ. That is incredibly sweet of you, especially since I'm not sure this live stream is exactly where I was.
Yeah. Back to the sky. Yeah, I took it last night, the test. Yeah.
Thank you, thank you.
Also, I took it 2 times the test. So, you know, I mean, it's not the same questions all the time.
Ed,
Hey,
no,
my drones.
it's like I've been watching these murder things lately, and I took one day, you know, I don't know. I know it's for him to fly his drone through. Have you been able to get your drone through there yet?
No, our batteries are all dead for the small drones. Gotta get new ones.
What?
All the batteries are dead. Gotta get new ones.
They won't even redo? We
No,
can't charge them at all?
No charge at all on them. They last about 30 seconds and they're dead.
Oh my gosh.
Gotta get new ones.
Oh, it's for RC flyers too, huh? Well, Kim was telling me that there were questions on what all the pedals are for actually within a helicopter.
Yeah. Don't get technical. Well, I love my drones.
I know.
Dead equals garbage, that's for sure. Back from the sky. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for Manic, because if it doesn't work, then he and I will go on one day, get it all fixed up and do this, because he is a absolutely fascinating man. And so I really want to do this. And that's exactly what you mean, Ed, when you tell me not to get technical. I can be technical a little bit. Okay, here we go again.
I'm on the tablet. I resorted to the tablet because I know the tablet's got the correct bandwidth.
Yeah, it's working very good.
Oh my gosh, it's so perfect now. That's...
Yeah, I'm on the tablet.
Okay. Can you get...
Because I'm going to upgrade my computer to one like Roger's got, and then I won't have any problems.
Thank you, Paul. That is where anybody who gives me that is where it goes. It's going to be getting a passport so I can go see Roger and Kim.
Great.
Going. So do you have the what you call it, the chat?
I can load it up on my big screen while I'm talking to you.
Okay.
And I can at least get chat up there and mute the volume.
Okay.
So while we're chatting, I'll just mute the volume and I'll bring that up. It'll have a little bit of lag, but I'll be able to at least read the chat.
All right. It's time for bed. Let's go. So
let's go.
Love my drone says if you can't type your name, Manic Magic.
That was a bit rusty. Yeah, I'm rusty in all kinds of ways.
There you go.
Thank you.
So, what did you say, Roger?
Manic Magic. Love my drone says, hey, Manic Magic, type your bloody name if you can.
I got it. If I can get it up there. Go. Okay, Ranger, you're going to die. That is my husky wolf. He just likes being in everything. So yeah, that's going to come down again probably. Is it just balancing against the table? Don't tell me I don't want to know. Don't tell me I don't want to know. Okay, Manic, let's get going here.
Yeah, let's get going.
Let's stay on. Don't go anywhere.
Yeah, I'm here.
Manic, I went through your whole channel today, and
Okay.
I expected tons and tons and tons of videos. Do you take some of yours off? Are you removing
No,
videos?
I've only started 4 weeks ago with my videos. And I tried to do some in the last couple of weeks and I'm having trouble.
How come?
With making videos. Just said I had a little bit of a spell because I had a bit of a scare with I woke up one morning, I thought I was having a stroke.
Oh, geez.
Again. So I had to have a break. So all that content of 1.7 K of watch hours that I produced is only in the last 4 weeks.
Wow, Manic, you are, I'm going to tell you, between your the amount of videos you have compared to the amount of subscribers you have, you're doing really, really well.
I'm actually going to do a video where it's going to be called I've Cracked the Code. I've got other tricks of the trade that I use that YouTube don't use. And because I just had a discussion with Farmer JT, and he had a debate with this person and reckons that I'm cheating. And I say I do not cheat because I have not lost any of my subscribers through the purge.
So,
It was on these techniques where I get back to all my people and I converse with them and then they get back to me. And what the trick is, they can't wait to what I've got to offer next. I keep them anticipated in the fact that they want more. And I've got them all in the queue now of people waiting to want to see what I've got to offer next. Well, like I said in my letter to you, Val, baby, you haven't seen anything yet.
I'm glad about that, Manic. Let me ask you a couple questions. Let me interrupt you because
go for it.
I want to clarify really quick. I'm Jewish redneck preppers. Shalom, shalom. Ricky Dove's in the house. Ed's in the house. Drone shot. Hey. Star Cop. Paducah. Hey, how you doing? We have Back from the Sky. We have Carpenter Rick. We have Phantom Hodge. We have all kinds of people in. But I'm going to go back. But I just want you to know I see all of you, and I'm so happy you're in here. So when people tell you that you're cheating, or when they tell you that somehow you're going about it the wrong way, don't you find that happens to everybody? Everybody's told that when they start getting subscribers. Everyone comes on, they go, how did you do it? Right? We're all doing it together.
I laugh because I laugh so much. I keep it positive. I don't even get down on that because I treat them like trolls, or I treat them like the Bible bashing Jesuits of the day, where they were lost out in the sea when there was a great earthquake. And the Jesuits at the time said, come out to the ocean, the devil's come and it's the end of our days. And they went out to the ocean where they believed it was safe. Well, the tsunami come along and washed them all away and killed them. Well, I look at them as the Jesuits of the day, where they're the non-believers. They don't understand. They think they're the expert, but unfortunately, I'm the one who's getting the subscribers. Like I said to Roger, is if you build it, they will come. And Roger said, well, you're certainly trying to build your channel. Within 5 months, I've got 1,300 subscribers. And most of them were done in the last month. I've only had content with just over 4 weeks.
Well, there's something very interesting you did, though, Manic. You've been on our streams for a while now.
Yes.
All you did was give support, be there when people were on there. That's all you did. So everybody was really pushing for you. do some videos,
Yes.
do some videos.
Yes.
And they were really behind you in getting some of those videos up. So I think you kind of built your brand,
I
right?
have.
First, you got
Yes.
rapport with the community.
Yes. I've done it in the
Then
reverse.
you did your videos.
Yes.
Yes. And I think that's part of really part of how that all worked. I don't know if that was, you were deciding to do that to begin with, but I got to tell you, I wanted you so bad to start doing videos that the day you said you put out that information, what your video is about, I watched it that day. Because you were such a great supporter. So, I mean, that's going to be how that works sometimes, yeah?
Well, it all comes down to things that happen. If it wasn't for that person that I respect so much, he got me very down that day because they said they weren't going to subscribe to me. It was someone here on Drone Hub because I had no content. And then I had Drone Worship wouldn't subscribe to me because I didn't have content. And then I had people calling me a troll all the time. So then basically, to put it bluntly, I got off my ass and did a video. Well, it took me 8 hours to do that video.
Wow. Yep. It was a good video, though, Manic.
Because it was so hard for me because I couldn't get my head around how to do the simple tasks that I once did or once could do. My problem is my eyes trying to navigate the computer because I've had some eye tests and I don't need any glasses for driving. And when I got my license back, the problem with the computer he says I have is it's all these optic lights that are in the computer screen and they're bouncing around in my eyes and I can't navigate the screen properly. So I have all sorts of awful problems trying to navigate the computer. And then that causes into anxiety. So once I'm under pressure, I can't deal with it because as you can see with my notes, I've dealt with depression all my life. And that's why I get emotional and I get teary. I'm like an old person in an old person's home where they cry all the time. My mother, when she had her stroke, she would cry all the time without any reason because your emotions are like when someone's going through menopause or you're just so screwed up with your with all your things that's happening in your brain and all the rest of it. That's why I get emotional because of that, as well as I'm a freak because I feel people's pain. If I ever think of a person's pain, I start to cry because I can feel what they feel.
Right.
And
It's
because I'm a
called
caring person.
It's called the empathetic nerve, right? So when
It
someone
takes that
tells
nerve
you
off.
the road they walk, I do the same thing. I can't tell you in some of my work I do, the children, the trauma I've heard, and I sit there with them and I just can't stop from having tears in my eyes because I get it. It's the hard road for them and you can't help but feel. So it's a good thing, but it can be hard when you're trying to live your life through other people's emotions. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. And I understand that, but it doesn't make it any easier for me.
No, it doesn't.
It's like a person that's psychic, which I have a bit of a psychic ability. And I've witnessed people that have died before they've actually died or been murdered and all sorts of things. And it triggers a whether it's a memory or a flash of a vision or something, and it's just overwhelming. And when a person has to deal with that, it's a burden.
Okay, so
I
can
don't
you
even
do me a
understand
favor,
it
Manny?
myself.
Can you put down something in the chat? Is that possible or no? If it's not, I'll figure it out.
I can. What would you like me to put in chat? Because I've got it on the TV.
Just hello. But do go
Just
on something.
done.
Is that what you mean, Paducah? There you go. So this is Trevor. It's Manic Magic, and he's talking to us about his life. Let's talk about your earlier life, because
yes, let's start from the start, because then I won't get off track.
Okay. Yes, I go. Can I go? Okay. So you said in your we'll take it through a few steps. That from the very earliest age, there was trauma, right? I looked at trauma because you were in a burning bedroom, your parents' bedroom, and your brother had to come and grab you out of it. You want to talk to me a little bit about that?
Well, what happened was my family don't know what happened, but the bedroom was engulfed in some way because I was too young to start the fire. I was still in my crib. And he had to smash the front window because that's where the master bedroom was, at the front of the house. And he had to smash the window to pluck me out from the burning building. We were able to extinguish and isolate the fire to the bedroom only. And in those days, we had no phone or nothing. We had to basically, if we didn't put the fire out, if we didn't extinguish it, that would have been the end of the house. It could have been us lost, because we didn't even have locks on the doors where I lived. We lived in a very basic life, like you would have thought in the 20s.
Right.
We were very, very poor. We were brought up in the Depression. So that was when my father was still alive. As my father and brother of 14 died in the same year, within a couple of months from each other. My father died through having, whether it was a truck accident with crushed legs or something along those lines, he had problems with his legs and died where his legs didn't get circulation and got gangrene. And so I have to be careful of that. That's the problem I have at about the same age of his life. And we lost a sibling at 14 in this about a couple of months. It was very hard for my mum. He had a hole in his heart. He was the first experimental child to do an operation on his heart. And it was because of he being a guinea pig, operations on the hole in the heart from that time on, it's been successful. He was the last to die of the breakthrough that they had with the hole in the heart. So our family's been a guinea pig all our life. It's just been very difficult for us. So mum had no job, had no income coming in. So us kids, mum raised over 20 children.
Oh my God.
She had 10 of her own in the space of my father's death. So he was a very busy man. In the comical way too, if you want to.
Yeah, I was
yeah.
thinking he's very busy.
He was very busy. In fact, two of our siblings were born 12 months apart. So no sooner one sibling was born, he was at it again. And so he was obviously a very loving man. And so that was very hard on mum. So we had to learn how to hunt and gather. We had to kill rabbits. We had to go to our veggie garden. We had to do whatever we could to survive. And so we were brought up the hard way. But me being the youngest, I think I didn't miss out on as much as what my older siblings did, because by then they were old enough to manage and help us, to help the family. We needed the family to be a village, and the older siblings would look after the younger siblings and so on. So that helped Mum to manage. Like, I'll give you an example of the two siblings that were born 10 months apart, or not 11 months apart, or whatever they were. They were home. If they were home from school this day, and Mum, this is just an illustration of how hard it was for Mum to cope. She was very, very house proud in the way that she kept her house clean, even though us little buggers would untidy it all the time. Well, these two siblings were inseparable. If one got sick, the other one got sick. My sister Kathy, she got her hand caught in a roller on the washing machine. If you can remember the old ringers they had on the old washing machine, she got her hand caught in there. And she might have been the age of 7. And meanwhile, my brother he had the old refrigerator where you could get where it used to freeze up the racks.
Right.
And he had his tongue caught on the rack. He thought it was a good idea at the time to lick the cold drips off the frozen rack because it was a hot day. Oh. So he thought it was a good time. So meanwhile, they're yelling out and screaming in pain, and she didn't know which way to go. So there she is. She quickly ripped the plug out of the washing machine, and then quickly went and got some warm water to try to bathe his tongue so it could be disconnected. They're the sort of, just a little story, they're the sort of things that she had to go through with just two siblings. Imagine 10.
I called my kids Flip and Flap because my son was so close that if one got the chicken pox, the other one would go and sit as close as possible so they could join in that chicken pox.
They were the same.
So she could get it. Oh my gosh. So your mom, it sounds like your mom had to be very strong to be able to go through all of that.
And not only that, she was a foster parent to twins, several cases of twins, because in those days it was the 60s and twins were separated to be able to get a better chance to be adopted.
Right.
So by separating them, but she couldn't do that to them. So she would adopt them as foster children. And they've been my brothers and sisters from now on. We go camping together. We go to different bands together. We go listen to the same music. We go on cruises together. And they've been non-biological family, but they're brothers and sisters to me. And that's the way it's been.
Wow. That is your mom. Is your mom still alive, Manic?
No, she passed, and that's where I'll get to it later. She passed away after being in nursing home for 13 years, and she didn't like it in the nursing here, and that was after a stroke. She had a stroke. She didn't want to. She was when she had a stroke, it was a couple of days before she was going to go and see her oldest sibling, her oldest child. Well, she didn't want to tell anyone because she thought it would stop her from going to visit. So unfortunately, because she didn't want to tell anyone, she nearly died through whatever the scenario was. It was lucky that we found her in time, that she was able to make some form of recovery. Because if you know how a stroke is, that the longer you leave it, the worse your chances are to survive it or to get back to some form of normality. I've been lucky that I understood what a stroke was well and truly as, even though I couldn't understand what was going on,
Right.
it's like my computer in my head wasn't working. I was able to get someone to call the ambulance relatively quick. And that's why it's taken a couple of years to recover. But these are years that I may never have been able to recover if I didn't catch it quick enough. So I'm getting better and better and better. And so therefore I will be able to achieve the things that I was able to do before. It just
So how
takes
old are you,
time.
Manic? How old are you?
I'm 48 now.
So you're still a young man.
I'm still a young man, so I've still got lots of years of YouTube ahead of me.
You do. So,
And it's going to happen.
so I remember, Manic, there was a time in my life where I had some peas, canned peas, and I had some oatmeal, a thing of oatmeal, and I had 3 children, and that's all I had. That was
Yeah.
all I had. And
Yeah.
I knew if they ate too much of it, there is no way we were going to be able to get through those other days. And I remember just the sheer terror of that, being
Yes.
a mom, being the one who was supporting the family, being all that. I just remember, I mean, I can't even imagine your mom with so many children hitting that space where I'm telling you, I'm just overwhelmed by just the sheer strength she must have had, because I couldn't imagine having to go through that again.
Well, the reason is art was her life.
Mm-hmm.
That kept her sane. It was her art. And that's where I've got from, my art ability.
Yes.
Right from the age of 4, I would help her do her oil colours, her painting, her pastels, her charcoals, her crocheting. I was excelled in crocheting. At the age of 21, Mum bought me a book on the advanced version of doing the advanced patterns of crocheting. Well, I don't know if there's any males out there that's ever had an advanced version of crochet. Well, I was proud to get one on my 21st birthday.
Nice.
But I am proud now to say that. But when I was doing a theatre, we were doing a theatre performance of the Hawaiian Nights. I was the star of the Hawaiian Theatre Nights, but we had about 15 people, and we had to get all their costumes ready. It took us 12 months to do it. I was in charge of all their costumes. Well, I was crocheting all their headdresses, making all their grass skirts and all the rest of it. But every time a male come in the meantime, I was trying to run a bar. So I had all these gruff men come in that were all muncho. And so I quickly put the crocheting away so they couldn't see me because I was embarrassed. But now I don't give a damn.
Right, right. There comes an age where you just don't care anymore. So tell me something. After the fire, after all the loss, you went into becoming a firefighter.
Yes.
And
From
how
the
many
age
years
of
did you do
13.
that?
Pardon?
How many years did you do that?
32 years.
Wow, that is huge. And this is also why you were having some medical problems, wasn't it? Because you didn't.
Yeah, I've had medical problems all my life, but not as extreme as it is now. I've been a station master, station officer, and worked with children from the age of 11 and doing all their basic training. That was my role for many, many years, is to recruit basic training as well as teaching and the basics of firefighting for all men and women, because we had a lot of men and we had a lot of women in our brigade as well. In fact, a lot of the other brigades never had any women. In fact, they wouldn't allow it. It wasn't part of their voting system. They weren't allowed to have women involved. So we embraced that because we needed as many hands available because when we're in small communities, you don't have the luxury to have the manpower because it was a volunteer organisation.
Right.
And so you needed, and sometimes you had a motley crew. And me being the way I am, I thought, damn this, we're going to make our crew and do the training and get them to be the best firefighters that we can possibly achieve. And by doing that, we did road crash rescue, where we cut people out of cars and worked closely with the ambulance and the ambulance brigades. And that was my major task of training. And then I furthered that career to involving myself as a group officer, meaning all these other brigades together, like the hub here, where you get together and do learning outside our own brigade. And so we implemented that. We got quite a few people together, and we become more like we're doing here on YouTube. Just growing, helping.
Yeah, Midwest Jones said
done.
he was a firefighter for 23 years. But I want to read something to you that you sent to me. You said you had many diverse career choices, and this was while you were an active firefighter.
That's
you were
correct.
A full-time tradesman, a party hire, erecting marquee and carnival events, a chicken farmer, high-pressure cleaner, a stonemason for monumental gravestones, sales, tow truck driver, operator, call center for roadside assistance company, Australian white assist, panel beater, cook, bartender, and club manager, pizza shop owner, and there was a lot more than that.
I was even a car salesman, like Ice Spike last night asked me. On about 5 occasions, I was a car salesman, and I'd be able to sell at least about 7 cars or more a day.
Oh my gosh.
But I didn't want to continue that because there was a lot more opportunities for me out there. I wanted to experience everything. And I was salesman of the year for a franchise that I did sales for. And my boss said, "You will not do it." And I said, "Why?" And I'm standing next to him, shoulder to shoulder. And he laughed at me. He says, "You're not a woman and you don't have big tits." And that's what he said to me. He said, "Women with big boobs sell." I said, "Just watch me," I said to him. I was not turned off by that at all. In fact, I joked to him because he was a good supporter. He was just being funny in his way. I said, "Are my boobs big enough for you, buddy?" And because I was still a big lad then. And I ended up, after a couple of, I did what I did like I do on YouTube, is it took me a while to get going, but once I did my homework, because this was my second day at this job, mind you, and once I studied what I had to do, my sales went up to 100% in a couple of weeks. And I kept selling and selling and selling. In fact, I had a sales rep come to me because I needed to sell chewing gum. Like I said to Ice Spike, I could sell ice to Eskimos. Well, I needed to get my sales up on selling Wrigley's chewing gum. So what I did, I went home and did my homework and made up a rack so I could display these chewing gum in a 3-layered rack, and I designed my own packaging. So the display case I designed.
Wow.
The next day, the sales rep come and took photos of it, and they ended up making that same rack throughout all their stores. So imagine how proud I was. And because I wanted my sales up, and I had to do a cleaning shift as well. So we did 4 days of sales and 1 day of cleaning shift. And I said to come into the boss, because we're always humorous, I was a joker. And anyway, I said, that's it. I'm not going to do any. I'm not going to sell any more chewies. I said, no more chewing gum for sales for me. He says, okay, because he's waiting for it. Okay, Trevor, what is it today? I said, well, there was that many chewing gum now, stuck up on all the walls, stuck on the toilets, stuck on the toilet seats, stuck everywhere because of my sales. There was chewing gum everywhere. And
Everywhere.
I had to clean it.
Oh, gee.
But I could still laugh.
Right? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So I want to look. You saying this that you've had a lot of ups and downs, and that God is a big part of your life. Now I know we don't talk religion, but we do talk about it this way, right?
Yes,
It is a very big part of your life, and is that what helped you get through all this?
I believe so. And the influential people in my life, like my grandma, her name was Gran. That's all we knew her as, is Gran. And when she come to visit, she would give us a lolly or candy. And it would only be one piece of candy because we weren't allowed to be gluttons because that's a sin.
Mhm.
We couldn't indulge any more than one piece. And that was the rules, and we understood that. But we didn't love her any less. Even though kids like to get greedy, especially when they don't have much, but we still had the highest respect for her. She would take us to church every Saturday because she was 7-day Adventist, even though
Right.
we were brought up as Lutheran. So my current religion is Lutheran slash Church of United Church or whatever, like similar to what Starcop goes to, that style of church.
Mm-hmm.
And if it wasn't for the influential people, they're the ones that I actually remember. The ones that I don't really remember as much as the ones that caused harm to me, which I won't touch on too much because it involves personal, sexual, and all sorts of things. That there's some cruel people out there and they try to steal one's childhood from you. So one tries to put all those bad experiences in their back of their mind, because you can imagine you've got one mother, and when you've got an abusive stepfather for all your life, and you've got 20 plus children, well, there's going to be children out there that's going to become to harm. The ratio predicts that. And people that you believe that are your friends of the family, it often usually occurs in those environments because they're the ones that you're least likely to suspect. So, yes, those sort of things occurred through all our family members, and we've had to, and myself particularly, have had to overcome that and be able to come out the other side and become a reasonably sane person. And how that's occurred is through faith, I believe. It's for me, whether it's not for everyone else. It's not for me to judge or determine that, because I have friends that they can string off cuss words, every second cuss word, but that's who they are. It's not what I do, but they're still my best friend.
Sure.
And that's why I still cope, because I still embrace those friendships, because at the end of the day, they're not the ones that are going to harm me. They're the people that the people that you think, oh, you can't trust him, but they're the ones that are most trustworthy. They're the ones that I keep closely and dear to me. is the ones that people say don't go near. And this is what I've been trying to explain to Farmer, because Farmer's been a good friend of mine, and he's only 12 years of age. See, I can relate to people like him because I've trained people of that age all their life. And I tell him, everyone that warns you about it, as long as you're in a safe environment, and whenever you do hangouts so people can see you, so they can see whether you're in harm. So you always have that environment that keeps you safe. And that's what I've had to learn all my life, is to try to keep safe. And
Right.
unfortunately, a lot of family members and a lot of children fall through those cracks of being able to keep a safe place or have the environment for a safe place. And that's what I've tried to achieve for many other youth.
Well, I think
Create that
sometimes
environment.
when we really start looking at trauma, and there's been so much on it, it's just a lot of new research on trauma right now with children and what happens as they go into adults. And I got to tell you, Manic, and because I just had this conversation yesterday with two very dear people who I'm working with right now. And we were talking about trauma and the effects on the judicial system, the effects through the world because of this trauma happening with children. And I think that you have led a very exemplary life with a lot of really good things. And not all of our trauma kids come out the other side like you have. And they just haven't. I know I've worked with trauma kids, the last 18 years of my life. And I am telling you, you are a marvel of resilience. You really are.
I think this is why I've done all my hobbies and job descriptions, is to distract me and keep me busy from those things that I could not deal with.
Sure.
And that's why I feel that I've had to express my self in other ways and other job careers, is to distract myself from that trauma. And I
Right.
think that's the reason. And for a long time, I probably didn't realise that was the reason. And it's only now that I've had time of rehab to think about all these things, and being trapped in your body for a long time, which we'll go through a little bit later in the interview, briefly. But yeah, there's a lot more trauma than what I experienced as a child.
Sure.
Yeah.
And the funny thing about it is once you have one trauma, it doesn't go away. When other things happen, it just builds, and that original trauma stays there. And you end up with all these little things, even when they're just slights, or people being not mindful of what's coming out of their mouths and things like that. It can attach itself to this big ball, and then you're carrying this huge thing around you with you, right?
It's how I cope with it. I put little boxes in my head.
Yes.
And I have all these boxes in my head like a filing system. And what happens is I only open boxes when I choose to, of when I can cope with that little box. I can't cope with opening all the boxes, else then I just will not cope.
Yes, and I agree. You have to be very mindful about how you start attacking the trauma, and to start relieving yourself of that pressure. And even when you do, somewhere there's still that little piece that can build again. So I'm gonna take a small break. Roger, can you take over for me for just a minute? Can you all say hello to everyone in the chat? I'll be right back, I promise.
Sure. Okay, no problem. How you doing, Manic Magic?
I'm doing wonderful.
Cool. I'm going to say hi to the people here in the chat. Back from the sky. Love my drones. Michael McReynolds. Star Cops in the house. Open in the House Record TV. Okay. Drones, Michael. Midwest Drones, how you doing? Farmer JT. Everybody check everybody's channel out. Make sure you got them. Baduga RC. Everybody check out everybody. So what time is it down there now, Manic Magic?
Okay, Google, what time is it?
It's 11:36.
Okay. That's AM or PM?
AM.
Okay.
So we've been going for an hour since Val's started. Yeah, just how many have we got in the house, Roger?
I got 15 now in the house.
Oh, that's all right. That's a good number.
Yeah. Everybody, please hit that like button. Back. Did you see the chat there, Manic?
Yeah, I'm checking the chat now. Oh, I've got Jewish Redneck Preppers.
Yep.
He's been a great supporter of my channels. Good to see him in. Obviously, we got Farmer. He's been a great support and vice versa. Rodney, he's been an amazing support of mine. Starcop, he's a best friend of mine, one of my best friends on YouTube. We've been right from day one. He's been a good friend of mine. And that's why we go on hangouts together.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Lewis. He's a great guy. I admire Lewis and what he does. Yep, I recognise all these people here. Back from the sky. I see him a lot on your channel as well as Mr. Crowley's.
Yeah.
Sean's a really good friend of mine. Asgard, obviously, he's a great guy. Who else we got? We got Love My Drones. Yep. How you going, mate? 616 with the printer. He's great. I talk to him quite a bit when I can. Like all these guys here, I support. And that's why my channel's growing, is because I support everyone.
So, Manic, can we do a little, hey, choo-choo.
Night
Choo
Train,
choo.
how you doing?
I love Night Train. So, Manic, let's talk about why you
Go for it.
decided to be part of, because you have all this stuff going, right? You have
Yep.
you have every reason to just go into a little hole and cover yourself up and just say, I'm going to eat worms and I'm going to stay here. And yet, you didn't do that.
No.
What you did was you decided to do firefighting, to do all these different jobs, to become more creative, to do artwork, and then to go on to YouTube. So what made you think YouTube was a good answer for you?
Well, and that's great that you ask that, is because I didn't have any ambitions to be a drone pilot or even doing art on YouTube. I had no ambitions because at that time I was just recovering from being out in a coma and being paralysed from my neck down for two years of my life. And so there was nothing that I could do because I was trying to recover, learn how to walk and talk and eat and do all those things that people take for granted. So all I had to do was to be a supporter of YouTube, I watched lots and lots of YouTube channels, and I've had some that have been come and go through my sicknesses, of where I just binge watched them. Like some of the people that they were just like Andrew from Poosa was explaining, Stacey Ninestack, right? A lot of people wouldn't even know who he is, right? But he is one of the biggest YouTube sensations in YouTube history.
Right.
When I binge watched on his, every day for months. I creamed him. I creamed Ken Heron. I creamed in the sailors, like the drone people. I creamed in Dan from worship. I creamed his videos in. I creamed everything that I enjoyed because I couldn't do my art. I crammed all my art videos, and that's when this Australian guy named Graham Stevenson, who did this show on YouTube, and what he's done is similar to what Roger's trying to do. He's tried to get all these artists together and form an artist hub. Well, he was the inspiration to me. He inspired me because there was all these professional artists that had the same mindset as what you and Roger and all us have. None of these bombastic idiots that think that they're so far up their arse and they can't talk up to us little people. Well, he gathered all these artists together that weren't like that. He got people that were willing to share their trade. And so I watched Cram watch him, and I still Cram watch him. And that's all of a sudden he made a light bulb go up in my head. And he said there's this one lady he didn't know, he couldn't remember who it was, and all she did was started a YouTube business on just doing art and basic art. She didn't even express her full extension of her talent. She just did basic tutorials to people like us that don't have to have any artistic ability. So, and all they do is people are out there with similar situations like myself and Roger and so on, where YouTube has become their hobby because they, through their handicap or whatever, they can't do anything else. So people just watched her and watched her and watched her. Before you know it, she's over 100K subscribers. Wow. That put a light bulb on my head. And after watching an episode of Stacey Neistat, I said to my sister, I rang her up she's in the next state, 7 hours away. And I said, I'm going to be the next YouTube sensation. And she said to me, guess what? I wouldn't doubt that in one little bit, because I have the ability to do it, because everything I've tried to do and achieve in my life, I've set goals and I've been able to achieve every one of them. Like every goal, that even the little goals, what I do is I do it in such little ways. I strive now for 100 subscribers each week, and I get them. I've got my 100 subscribers every week, and that is my goal. Eventually, I'll probably get 10K, and I don't care about broadcasting this. I hope to get my 10K within a year. And with my stats, I think I can achieve it.
I'm just going to tell you, Manic, I told Roger, let's go and get our 30,000, and he just laughed at me. Right, Roger?
I didn't laugh at you. I just laughed at the idea of 30,000.
Yeah, I understand, Roger.
No, when you say big numbers, Manic, you have to, I think the one thing that a lot of people say on here is that, a lot of people, you can't do it. You think you're going to do it. It always makes me more in my head that I'm going to do it. The more people tell me no. I started this fun run where I worked because someone said I couldn't do it, and I put it together in 6 weeks, and then I had to do it every year for like 8 years, and I thought, why did I ever do this? But the minute someone tells me you're not going to be able to do that, Valerie, I'm just like, yeah, watch me. And so I was teasing Roger when I said 30, but I think that if you say that that's where you want to be, and that's what you're going to do. And you grind it out every day because I could say that, but if I just sit here and do nothing, nothing happens. But if you're willing to do the work and go to the grind every day, there's no reason you can't have 10,000. Not all of us do it, but there's no reason you can't.
Because I'm not scared, because you know why? Because the statistics show that it can be achievable. And if it can be achievable, I'm going to do it. And whether it's only just a personal goal, I don't care. If I'm going to have my ups and downs along the journey, and I'm experiencing them. Like I've been opening chat rooms and live streams that I go in there and I slowly close the door back again. I don't want to ever go back in there ever again. I even had one, and I even went to this subscriber.
So it's going to make me cough. Oh my gosh.
I went to one subscriber.
But that's slowly closing the door back out, backing away.
I was backing away. There was even one subscriber I picked up one day, and I went back to his video, because I go back to every person's videos. And everyone, and trust me, I'm not just saying this. Again, that's the reason why I'm growing. And he had videos, he had 4 videos that he had 10 years ago. No other new content. Well, how it started was there was this prostitute on the front veranda chatting away to these 2 men. And she was bumming a cigarette. And this guy was coming to visit this guy. And he wanted to sell him a computer because there was an ad in the paper, local paper. And it was only a small town. And he wanted to sell this computer because this guy was setting up a call girl centre where they were selling their bodies. So he had all the rooms getting set up for these girls. Well, anyway, in the main room, he had this autistic male, semi-clad in his clothing, tied up, getting slapped around against his will. And he was told not to talk because he says one of the questions was, I heard that you say that you're married or something. And he's trying to nod. And he says, shut up. And he was getting abusive. And shut up, don't answer any questions. He says he doesn't know what he's talking about. And then they went on and continued on showing the rooms that they're setting up for the call centre so they could have these computers. And this was 10 years ago to today, the videos were. Well, I reported it to YouTube. But it took me a while to consider what have I just witnessed. I didn't know what to do.
Let me tell you something. Sometimes, like when I was working with courts, and I would have to see some of the things that were going on in some of the reports and files on things that were happening in the world. I sit there and look for, just looking. I didn't even know what I was saying.
No.
I would go, what is this, a monkey clicking symbols? I didn't even know what I was, because I had no reference to it. Those kind of things I had no reference to. And they go, no, Valerie, look at, and I'm like, no. But I think it's true. And I think I don't know where we got into, you have to pay to see someone naked. Michael McReynolds, where are you coming from? What? Michael, what are we talking about here?
All you have to do is go to videos on YouTube, obviously.
You're supposed to be watching what's going on here.
I am, but I lost track of who they're talking about.
Well, they're the sort of things that I've experienced on YouTube. But getting back to that, Val, is the reason why I come to YouTube. Is then all of a sudden, I needed to learn how to walk again. So I bought a drone so I could get out there, lose some weight. I've lost lots of kilos, to walk my dog. And people are asking me, are you doing your art? Because I was doing like marathons of art painting, like 3 days straight with no rest. And then I'd be exhausted because that's why I chose my name, because of Manic.
Right.
Because my hand would be like a sewing machine. And this would happen when I was on a young age of 4. When I did my best artwork, I was overtaken by another being of God or whoever you may want to think
Right.
who it is. My hand would go like a sewing machine. It would just take over my body, and I'd be able to create great art, works of art, and I didn't know where these come from. Mum was amazed. Even my stepfather that abused us always took pride in my art because he always bragged about me. That's the only comfort I really have in the memories of my stepfather that was abusive, was he did enjoy my ability of being a prodigy of art. And but he didn't realise, and a lot of other people didn't realise, they were taking that level of where I could have went away from me. But, okay, Google, stop. Google was just setting the alarm off. They were taking my ability away one brick at a time. But every time they took that brick away, I'm there trying to scramble and replace that brick in that wall again. And eventually, when there's more than one person trying to remove bricks, it takes me quite the effort of replacing them bricks to build myself back up again. But I always try to choose not to be the victim. There's so many people out there that are so negative and try to become the victim and, oh, why me? Why me? I can't do this. That's why I'm going to go back into singing. And I've written some songs, parodies. And one of my first songs that I'm going to be singing is Why I'm a YouTube Broke Guy. It's actually targeting those YouTube people that I've witnessed. There was one guy that was complaining and jealous of me of how fast I went, because I was only on YouTube for a month at that stage. And I had all these subscribers, and he says, how can you do that? You must be cheating. He says, I'm doing my live streams on a Obama phone. I don't know if you know what an Obama phone is. It's a phone that the unprivileged were given so they could keep in contact with the health services and that. It was a free phone. So he's saying he was so poor, he's resorted to his Obama phone to be able to broadcast his live streams on. Well, I'm thinking, how sad is that? For God's sake, pick yourself up, man. Like, put some colour in your life. His back wall was dirty and bare. He's sitting on his couch. He had nothing in his house. Like, you can be poor, but you can still have a lovely home.
That's right. Really quick, I want to say goodnight to Baduga. Baduga, thank you so much for coming in. All my love to you. And also, the other person who left was, oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot. I just, Michael McReynolds. And hello, Kim Fife. I'm so happy because you and I got some stuff to talk about. Yes, yes, yes. And Love My Jones, of course, is still here. Drone Tread on Me, Star Cop 4x4, Fur Ball.
4x4 videos.
Yeah, and I gotta tell you guys, there are a lot of people on tonight, a lot of live streams. And so I just want you to know how thrilled I am that you guys came here to spend time with Manic, Roger, and me. And I'm just so appreciating it. I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, because there are so many live streams on.
There is.
You know, I'm just so appreciative. So thank you.
There's Pusa, there's Wacky. There's a lot of good live streams out there.
I don't want to tell you them all because I don't want you to leave going, I didn't know they were on. But
oh, that's
lots on tonight, my friends. And the fact that you're here is it just warms my heart. And I'm
Thank
so
you, guys.
So I want to talk about these things that happen because I was told that through Sue, I mean, I've even had people make videos to say things to me because they didn't want to just call me up and say them. That you just can't make money on YouTube. It's just a non-starter. It doesn't, it's not going to happen. But I got to tell you, I don't believe that. I know that when I retire, which is not that far away, I'm not going to be able to retire. I don't have the money to retire. So I'm going to do like my mom did. I'll probably work till I'm 80. But YouTube is one of those venues, I mean, that if through the years, like I got about 10 more years to do it, to get enough up there so that you can do some stuff to help you along when you're in retirement and it's something you love and something you enjoy. If it's here, I don't see why not. Why not? Why not? And why do people have to be so negative when you say, I'm going to do it, and they go, no, you're just wishing on a star there, and that star's already gone.
I can give you the answer to that, Val. You can, but you've got to look at the big picture.
The big picture.
I am already making money in my first month of YouTube. Not on YouTube. I am selling leather work and artwork to the community here and different people. I've got 4 orders of leather work in America already that I've got to ship over there, of Bible covers and different things.
See, you've done something. You diversified your channel and what you're doing. And that's exactly from the bigger YouTubers. I mean, the ones that have 200,000 to 1 million subscribers. That's what they say to do. Now, I don't know how I'm talented in those ways to be able to do that, because really, you don't want to hear me singing. You certainly probably don't want to see any artwork from me. But there's always something when you can clear your mind enough to think. I was also told yesterday, where I was having this meeting with these 2 very brilliant people, right? They're brilliant. I don't know why they're meeting with me, but they're brilliant. And this one man said, he goes, Valerie, it's taking the small steps. There's a big picture, but you take one step. Do that.
I take little chunks.
Yeah, and the next thing is it becomes a habit. You take another thing, and that's how you do big things. You just don't do big. You take, and I'm more like, let's just take that big chunk and try to eat that elephant all at once, and then I'm like, but it's the one thing.
Little things make big things grow.
Right, exactly. Hey, Biological, how you doing, darling? Thank you for coming in. Yeah, so it's those chunks you take so that you can get to where you're going.
As well as you don't get too ambitious. Your ambition should be controlled in a manner that you know what you can achieve. Like my goal at the moment is all I want to do within a couple of years, and whether that happens earlier, I don't care, which I will actually embrace. All I want to do is get a white van that's big enough that I can take myself and my dog around like Cab 7 does and visit people.
Yes.
And with my YouTube symbol down the side of my YouTube symbol with Manic Magic with the blue wrench and the love hearts that I have with the love hearts that I have with my signature, those 6 love hearts. Because what that demonstrates is I'm a YouTuber, I'm trustworthy, and I can grow, and I share the love. And that's where I am, and I want to plaster that as a trophy, basically, but not a trophy that you sit on the shelf, a trophy that you can then continue on and do more. And I can then go to different places and fly my drone and maybe paint a few pictures, do a few drawings. I can then go to the local pub and hang out with people, real people, people that that I can share with, and have a counter meal or something there, and then move to the next one, and and do that and then come back to my home base. Not to do that full time, just to be able to come back to my base as long as my health will allow that.
Yeah, see, right
Everything
now,
that I do is governed on my health.
yeah, my small goal now for this year is I'm going to get enough money to get my passport. And I'm going to fly to Canada and live stream with Roger. Because
Yes.
when we first started this, Roger and I would go on every day together, in the summer. It was after he'd already been on for a while. I've been eating Roger's dust for a long time. So now I'm going to get up and give him some dust back. No, I'm not. But I was going to see him. And so we could do it because we do live.
It's a perfect goal.
Copyright strike. We were on every day. So now
Yes.
I want to go up. I want to see him. I want to live stream with him, see Furball, because he's going to make me a picnic and we're going to fly drones. I'm going to
that'd be
Timber.
great.
I got
that is a perfect goal. You know why, Val? It's something that you wouldn't be able to achieve until you do that, right? And it's a step that's as manageable.
Right.
And because I know the history of Roger and Kim in the reason why they can't go to America. And I think that's great. And that means something to you guys. So you're actually not only doing a task that can be affordable or manageable, but something that's dear to your heart. And that's why it makes it so much more important. And that's why it'll be so much easier to set that goal.
Yeah, I think that as we set goals. So for your channel, you really are looking for it to become a very big channel.
I can imagine it to be that way.
Yeah, why not?
I'm only taking little goals at a time. I know that it's achievable to get 10K. And that's all I'm looking at this stage. Because like I said, you don't get too ambitious because something could come up in your life, like your health or whatever, that may not achieve that. But even with my health, I know 10K is achievable.
Yeah, and I'm going to say, the thing about it is you have to really be okay with having things happen while you're on your journey that roadblock you. I was really going for everything. I was doing so good. I'm just running on my little hamster wheel on YouTube and I'm enjoying it. I'm doing interviews. I had a month worth of interviews lined out. And next thing you know, copyright strike because somebody was mad at me. It wasn't about copyright. It was about someone being mad at me. They put that roadblock up there for me. And I got to tell you, that almost kicked me out of the water.
I can imagine.
You know what I mean? It can kick you out of the water. You're going, you're running, you run. All of a sudden, and you stop. And I think that what really defines you is what you do after that happens. Not what happened there. Because, I'll take, it is what it is. It happened. It's done. But now what do you do? And I got to tell you, for a while, it took me a while to pick myself up. Roger calling me, Roger will tell you, see, he's lighting his cigarette now because he's thinking, oh my God, Valerie, yes. But Roger called me every night. How are you doing, Valerie? You okay, Valerie? For all that time, I got a call every day. Kim would call me. People would call me and just say, how are you doing? Because they knew that I just hit that wall. You're running in a sprint. You don't want to hit a wall.
No.
He's just like flattening. But they called me, and that's what I think you're saying. When you have those friends, those people that you can trust, and those people that become your family and so very dear to you, right? They're out there, but they're not all like that.
Even your closest family can let you down.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's people can, but Kim says he just called Drone Pool, such a dear hearted man.
He's a cool dude. I love Drone Pool.
You're so sweet, Paul. You didn't have to. But I am getting my passport so I could go give Roger a big
hug. Paul. Thanks for the passport donation.
Because Roger deserves a big hug for what he did for me, keeping my mind straight. Tell him,
Oh, for
Valerie, you really got
sure.
to go back on, Valerie.
And I was asking all the time, how's Val? How's Val? And he would just say, yeah. And I could read between the lines. She's going okay. Sure, Roger, sure. I could read into what he was saying
And I
because
was
I know
so
the history of
happy.
what's
Paul,
happened. But
Paul,
do you
Paul,
realize I know a lot of what happened behind the scenes. I've been told and whatnot, but I don't get involved in the drama.
no,
Like I haven't once spoken to Roger what happened. I haven't once spoken to you what happened. I haven't once spoken to the other parties what happened. But I know what's happened.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
But
no matter what happened, I got to say, oh,
you've got
Kim,
to deal with it and
you
move
didn't have
on.
to do that. Don't tread on me. Oh my God, that was my favorite.
$3.11. Every donation is greatly received.
It's great. I'm
But I
seeing
think
that
that's an odd
password,
number.
guys. But let me
That's an odd
tell you,
number.
the one thing I've realized about what happened was there's two sides to everything, right? There's two sides. Everyone holds
Every
a certain
story.
amount of responsibility and things that happen. And I hate to say that because I want to just say it's all somewhere else, right? But you can't
Yeah.
really honestly ever say that. So I'm just gonna say, yes, things happen, you know, and it was a lesson. And I gotta tell you, Roger was one of the biggest ones, and help me get out of that, to help me get out of my head enough to know that, okay, you splashed against the wall, let's unstick you and let's keep going. And then Paul
Yeah.
Murray was so sweet to be that first person on my way back to come on and let me interview him. And Paul, I love you forever for that. Thank you.
Like Val, your best pasta results are always often thrown against the wall.
I'm just so stuck.
That's right.
I was so stuck. But yeah, but I have good friends. I have, when I thought I wasn't going to be able to climb past a certain place and they changed the rules right as I was thinking I was going to get monetized last year. I wasn't going to be close, but Kim, who's in here, Kim 5, oh my gosh. 616, thank you. You didn't have to do that. Oh my God, thank you guys. But
Thanks, mate.
Kim 5 came on every day, and I'd go on and he'd say, it's going to be okay. Just keep doing what you're doing, Val. We'll
Yeah.
support you. He didn't even know me, and he supported me. And look, Drone Tread on Me, 616, all the guys, to the house. Oh my God. Kim, if I'm away, you're very sweet, 616. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. Because when I go see Roger, you're going to see me. I'm going to give him a big hug for just being that great friend that he is to me. Thank you, Kim. But yeah, I've been blessed. I've been blessed.
I thank God every day.
Yeah, last year was one of the best years of my life, and my kids were like, "What? It was when you had us?" And I said, "Well, that was a best year." 4x4. Thank you.
Oh, you can't compare, can you? You just have different best parts of your life, that's all.
It was just because of the family we have now, right? And
Yes.
look at you. How would I ever have met you if it weren't for this, Manic? How would I have
Yes.
met you? How would you have met us? There's
You're
just
going to be friends for life, I can guarantee that. Like
yeah,
the people that I know, doesn't matter what happens in the
thank
future, you can't erase good friendships.
right.
I've had friendships, my best friends, that were in situations that never ever started off very well. One of my best friends hated me because I was that comedian that was hiding when I was going through a bit of depression at the time. And when you're going through depression, sometimes you put this wall up. And my wall was being funny at the time. It was to mask my real feelings, like Robin Williams. And he just didn't like it. And eventually, once he got to know me, where we become workmates, became friends. We invented stuff together. Like if I had a YouTube channel 20 years ago, me and I'd have these ideas that I'd have on my YouTube channel that would go viral, and that's no word of a lie. We used to invent these jinkers where they're made out of two vehicles and you cut and shut them. They're vehicles that are on stilts. That gives you access out to tidal waters like they have out in the Florida, where you can drive these vehicles when there's no water. And then when the water comes in, the water rises and you can still drive through the water. Well, we use them for crabbing activities where we can go out and catch crabs.
Oh,
and
that's good.
and you use two car wrecks, or perfectly working car wrecks, and you build them into an invention, and you build these things. But we got them to such pristine levels that we had a market for them. We were selling them to people on order, and they wanted them flash. They wanted them pimped up. Well, they had furry stuff on them. They had everything. We were pimping these watercrafts out to the max, and we were making quite a bit of money at that time doing so. So it gave us the ability to get better at our mechanics, because I did a lot of mechanic work.
Right.
And panel beating and car salesman and all that. So, and that's where it got me to tow truck driving, and roadside assist.
Okay.
I was the best roadside assist personnel because we did Australia, New Zealand, and Tasmania. We did all their roadside breakdowns, where I knew every car. I knew all their cars' ability, what locking system they had, which window to smash when you couldn't open it up with a locksmith, and things like that. So you'd get advice, which window shall I put a brick through? So you can get the key so you can drive on and then get your window repaired the next day. They're the sort of tricks of the trade that I would have to learn, and no one else had. The reason was I had the ability to ask what the customer wanted. And sometimes when the customer didn't have the money, I'd still get the job done, because I was not going to let that customer to be stranded, even though the rules said if they didn't have a paid service, they weren't allowed to get roadside. But I'd still get a tow truck out there and help them, even if it was just to tow their car. So I used to, after being 6 years there, keeping my job, even though I broke all the rules, because the customer come first, because I broke the rules, that business had a business, because we had the reputation that we'd never let anyone down. And I can be proud today that I was able to break the rules. So with all the negatives becomes positives in everything you do. And that's why I don't give a damn on what rules I break, as long as the people that count, they matter.
Manic, can you put something into the chat? Kim Fife wants to pick you up. Support your channel, I'm sure.
Yes, I used to do tricks of the trade, like, you know how you've got central locking on your vehicles, a lot of the modern vehicles? Well, I'll do a tech review on how the tricks of the trade for roadside assistance, how to get you on the road again without having to call a tow truck. Well, they're the sort of reviews I will be doing, and they're not on YouTube. And so they're going to get, the algorithm's going to blow it out of the sky with some of the things I can tell you. All you got to do is, you know how you go beep beep, and when you go beep beep with your key. Did I write something there? No, I have.
Anything. Make sure you hit return.
Yeah, I've hit return now.
Hello.
Yeah.
So, Manic,
And
when you're planning all these things that you're going to do, which is something you have to do, you have to come up with what's going to push you forward in your YouTube channel. Are you writing all this down? Do you have like
yeah, I have pages and pages because I have to. Because sometimes I dream songs, I dream works of art. I'm a dreamer. And sometimes I wake up, like I was in hospital a few months back. That last spell I was in hospital, I was unwell.
yeah.
And I was on all these sorts of drugs and they were giving me violent dreams. So I said something to the nurse, I couldn't sleep because every time I went to sleep for 5 minutes, I'd have a violent dream. So they gave me something to treat that. Well, that stuff, whatever they gave me, was beautiful because I wrote this this song, and I had it stuck in my head, and I had the whole 3 verses continuously going around in my head, and I had to write this song down, and when I did all my best pieces of art over the years, I dreamt all those things. So sometimes some things are stored and I cannot get out of my head. Like when I witness murders and stuff, I can't get them out of my head. When children go missing, I have ability of finding out where they are, which is a burden. And even when I lost my pet lizard, I stood there and closed my eyes because my missus at the time, she was a bit drunk. She had a few ales. She liked her wine. And she let our pet lizard out of the cage. So I stood there in the middle of the room and I just closed my eyes. And I pictured where the lizard was. And this lizard was only about that big. It was as big as a brooch.
Wow.
I closed my eyes and I asked myself, where is this lizard? Something as simple as that. Well, I pictured where this lizard was, and within 5 minutes, we were able to find it and go straight to it.
Wow.
And that lizard, in our mind, could have been lost outside, could have been anywhere. It was a bearded dragon, you see, and they're expensive. Like, she only had it for one day, and she was celebrating because it cost her $70, which we couldn't afford at the time. And she lost it already. $70 down the drain. So I had to. So this is how, when I lose keys and different things, for some reason, I can see a picture in my head where they're located, and I discover stuff like that. It doesn't happen all the time. But like when I play poker, the other night, 2 weeks in a row, I had visions while playing poker. And if I was able to master it so I could count cards and watch cards and see cards every time, I'd be a millionaire. But I made all my money on YouTube of buying my flat screen TV, my computer, all my cameras, everything off of the winnings of poker. That's
nice.
That's why I can achieve it, because I see cards at times. The other night, I had one person walk out and abuse me and everything, threw his cards down. He had pocket kings. And I could see he had pocket kings with his cards face down. I had pocket nines. And all of a sudden, the cards coming out, and it looked like it was going to be a straight. If you know anything about poker, the build-up of cards can change, and you can trump the other person out by the cards that are laid out before you. So I knew I had pocket nines and he had pocket kings, and pocket kings were going to trump my pocket nines. Well, I knew he didn't have a straight way with betting and everything, and plus I was ahead of it all because I was convinced that I had seen his pocket kings. So all of a sudden, the 9 come out in the river. I went all in. And he looked at me and he says, "You can't beat me." And I says, and then all of a sudden, "I call you," he goes. And I go to him, I says, "You've got pocket kings." And he says, "How do you know that?" And he got all defensive. It's like he was thinking that I had cheated. And it's just that some people have that ability. And now I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit who knows this, because I had lots of years of having trouble of admitting to it because I couldn't understand it. I still don't understand it. Well, I knew my trick nines were going to trump his pocket kings. He got so angry because you get rewarded at the break some other chips if you last that long. He wouldn't buy in. He wouldn't do anything. He ended up going home, a very unhappy man. I haven't seen him since.
Yeah, I wouldn't be playing pocket anything with you. Not if you have that ability. So really quick, Roger.
Yeah.
Thank you. Drone tread on me. Thank you so much. All of y'all have been so very, very, very kind. And yes, I will be beating Kim with this stick.
And I really did not.
Coming.
And I really did not use Kim's credit card.
Yeah, I didn't think you did.
Roger,
I'm telling Furball that I'm going to beat the jujubes out of him because some of the stuff he says.
I know, isn't he a great friend?
Yes. And we're all calling him at 2 o'clock in the morning, but it's got to be a special ringer or wake up Roger.
Get away with that sort of stuff.
You know, I think some people are pretty empathic, Manic. I think that some people are really empathic. And then sometimes, you know, other people just aren't. But I think we all have the ability to be more empathic than we actually are.
There's charlatans out there.
Oh, sure.
Paul Murray says, Val, question. Has he ever played a lottery on the big pots?
Have you ever played do you do the lottery, Manic?
No, I don't. I used to, but I found that I don't see, my motto is in poker, I don't chase a loss or a win. Soon as I spend my $25, that's all it costs me. So that's like $12 American. All right, once that's spent, I build my pot up and then I win. So I've got this reputation. I wipe all these people out. I wipe out 3 in a row. And they hate me, but then they're good friends of mine outside of poker. But they hate how I play because I have this gift that they can't play, they can't compete. And I get so many upset and they're all laughing, the ones that are my good friends. And I says, "Who else have you just knocked out?" And it's an in-joke all the time. I just knock out so many people. But it comes to the day, at the end of the day, sometimes you just don't get all the cards, so you don't win all the time. So therefore, you've got to know when you're beaten, and you just do not. So I have a lot of wins, but I have a fair few losses too, because I'm not scared, because I know I have more wins than losses.
So there's something I have to do right now. I have to ask people out there in the chat, are there any questions they have for Manic Magic? Can I say your name? I think I've said it.
Trevor, yes.
Yeah, Trevor.
But I'm going to change my name to Manic Magic. Huh? I believe in myself so much, I am going to change my name to Manic Magic by law.
Okay, so Magic. So does anyone have any questions for Magic? Anything that you want to know? And drone tread on me. I hope you win. I got my fingers crossed for you. I think I want everyone in here to win. Yeah. Let's see. I'll buy you a few quads since you crashed them. That's true. That's true. He does. I think there are a couple things I learned tonight about you, Manic, that I didn't know. There's so much through what we do. Oh, that's a pretty one. That's a pretty one. Look at the eyeballs.
And they work.
Nice one.
Yeah, I think you have an artistic brain. You're just not artistic. I think that a lot of people can draw and who can paint, but
Yes.
their brains are just pretty straightforward. But you're very artistic. You have what I call like a 4D brain. It's on all these different levels.
I have no choice to change my jobs and everything because my brain just goes everywhere. It
Right.
just can't stick to one task because I have such a brilliant... I've invented things in my life of things that's happened. I'll give you one example. I was heavily into model aeroplanes.
Mm-hmm.
I was given a balsa wood glider. Well, I wasn't going to... with a rubber band operated with a propeller so it can fly. Well, I wasn't going to stop at just my basic balsa wood glider that can fly. I actually adapted the wings I sliced the wings, the tip of the wings, because I studied, when I was painting, I studied bird life. So I was able to paint bird life in a photographic manner so they looked real. Hours and hours and hours of birds I used to paint. And plus I had a bird sanctuary was one of my hobbies. Right, so I had 2 wedge-tail eagles. Look them up on Google how big they are. They are our biggest bird of prey. My biological father had the 2 eagles and we had hawks, we had everything, right? So I studied the eagle wings. And if you look at the eagle wings, they curve. I'll just get into shot. They curve on the end of the tips.
Oh, yes.
And the reason why they curve is to catch the thermals of the sky high up, and vultures have the same. And so therefore they know how to glide. So I studied the technical terms of gliding. So I cut the tips of my wings off. I cut them on an angle and I re-glued them with wedges underneath them until the glue dried. And on my maiden voyage, I was able to wind up the propeller and fly it, just so means that it could actually cast it and get some lift. Then once it lifted, it carried on the thermal. So it went up about 400 feet or more, line of sight. And this glider just went around and around and was catching the thermals like an eagle. And then once the propeller and that was spent and it slowly come down, it then used the wings itself and went down the main road beside my house, adjacent to my property, where I was living at the time. And it went, because it had little wheels, it was able to go right down the middle of my road by itself and then just landed perfect landing. No chip out of the balsa wing, nothing.
Wow. And
that was my maiden flight because I studied before I even made it. And unfortunately, we had trauma in our life. And one of my sisters had mental health issues. Oh. And she thought I was keeping her up all night because she was in the adjacent room. And she took the anger out of me. She threw a stone at me that was on my bedside, which was and threw that at me, which caused some harm to me. Then, because I had my plane, my glider up hanging from the ceiling because I loved it, like a trophy, she got it and she just screwed it into bits and just before me just sprinkled it on the ground. And she's like double my age and she was an adult at the time and she should have known better. Mm. Well, I never ever forgave her from that day on.
How old was she when she did that?
I was the age of 10. She was the age of 20-something.
Wow.
because we had a big family, so big ages.
Yeah, I'm just
Anyway,
surprised that someone that old would do something to a little kid like that. But I
mental
know,
health,
'cause I've seen it happen. Can I
mental
ask
health.
you, can I ask you a quick question?
Just before I do, I just finished this off. I seen this a couple of years later. The invention was created
Right?
a couple of years later on the news, and I didn't realise that I had invented that way
Wow.
of forming the glider. Now you can go on. Sorry, Val.
No, you're fine. I think I'm so sorry that happened to you, Manic. I'm so sorry. But RJSRC, he says, ask to see his leather work. Do you have some leather work that we can see?
Yes, just bear with me.
Okay.
I have it at my fingertips. This is my craft box that I take down to my... I've got an art studio which you'll be able to witness on YouTube eventually. It's all in the process of building. We're in the stage of putting, well, the most important things in there, and that's like biscuit makers and pie makers and do things like that. Because after all, you've got to look after your people there and make cookies. Because I'm a cook, so I've got to make sausage rolls and pies and pasties.
Nice.
So I'm in the bits of doing that, you see, before we do any arts and craft. I'll put that over there because that's my joy.
Oh,
Is that this is just a little box I take down there so we can do art tutorials, and eventually I'll be live streaming the art tutorials. I've seen the men and women doing their leather crafts and their acrylic paintings.
Yes.
Plus I have inventions that no one's seen on YouTube.
Oh, nice.
Which are going to go viral. Believe me, everything I've just said and done on YouTube has come to truth. So trust me.
Absolutely.
And that's why I believe in what I believe, because I've done it. I'm just seeing if I've got the samples of leather in here or I took them out. I think I took them out, but I can get them 1 second.
I know, right, Paul? I miss you. Pies, cakes, pastries. Oh, my. That's enough to get a ticket to fly over there, huh? I'll come by and grab Mia. She and I will go.
So Joe, tread on me. You're moving to North Carolina next month.
Wow. Yep, he is. Let's see. Yes, his other work is really good.
4x4 Camping asked a while ago, where exactly does he live in Australia, I think.
Oh, I'll ask him.
Yeah.
Because I thought he was in England. And
No.
I should have realized, he's over there with Ice Spike
and
Mars Turkey and those guys. Yes. In Perth. Yeah.
He didn't mention brownies, Paul.
Brownies are good. I'm not eating them.
Yeah, Paul, I will have my Tim Hortons tomorrow morning at 6.
Oh, I know, guys.
That's one good thing on my test tomorrow. I'm allowed to eat.
Nice.
Yeah.
My room's all upside down in there because I had to clean everything out of this room that I'm in, because I'm building a studio here for my YouTube, and I'm building this studio down there for my tutorials down in the main street, so people can walk past and pop their head in there for a cup of coffee and watch us do our arts. So that will market our art and be able to sell them.
Mm.
And so we're doing a coffee shop / art studio and tutorial. So I don't do anything by halves. Mm. So then I'm going to fly a little whoop around in my art studio around the people's heads and do YouTube videos of that and see what their reactions are. Yeah. But these are some of the leather work that I do
Manic,
And
Manic, before you start, where exactly do you live?
I live at Barmera in South Australia, 3 kilometres, 10 miles that is, north of Adelaide. Adelaide is central of Australia, so I live in the outback. But I'm lucky enough to live by a lake of Lake Bonnie, which is right on the River Murray. River Murray is the largest water source of Australia. So we have lots of vegetables, fruits, and livestock, everything. So I'm in a very, very good place.
Nice. Okay, show us some leather.
Right.
Something I can smack him
So
with.
we used to do leather. I was teaching leather classes
Oh,
and
nice.
involved with men and women there doing leather work. This is just a sample of some of the stamping I do, because this is just made from a piece of leather that's raw. It's tanned by vegetable leather. It's tanned by vegetable oil, it is. So it's a natural piece of leather. You can only stamp on it when it's raw. And then you add the shoe polish to get your different colours. So the black there is with a liquid black boot polish. And what you do is you do your different tones. So you do red, brown, black, even blue, even white, even red. You can paint this with any polish. Then you varnish it to get it to that quality. This is a sample of how I make knife sheaths. You know what a knife sheath is, Val?
I
They're
do.
for hunters. And so you can cut it out to the shape for a knife sheath. Or I make ones for pocket knives, which are different again, which I would be doing tutorials on how to make them. So the hunters up there in Canada and America and Australia and all the places where we are free to hunt, they can get their leather and make their own. If they do the tanning process how I teach them, they can make their own knife sheaths. Or you can buy the leather through a leather store, and then you can make it yourself, right? You can cut the process down. This is going to be moulded then. Then I make these moulds and you wet the leather down and then you turn it into a 3D shape. Imagine my snowball mic here, and I make this mould and I press it over once I make it wet. Leather has a memory, and the way you break the memory is you use it, wetting it and making a mould, and then you varnish it and do a stain over the top, and then it breaks the memory cycle. Then it stays in that shape permanently. So imagine then once you mould that into a round ball, half round ball, you put that part underneath and sew it. Well, that's called a pillbox purse. It's for hobbits, for anime. You know how they dress up?
Yep.
And they dress up and they want to become a hobbit so badly, and they have to spend thousands of dollars to do their costumes. That's where I come into it. I make leathercraft costumes for anime. So they have their hobbit purses and they have their leather belts and all the rest of it. And I use studs and all the rest. And then I use beads and buttons and stuff that you buy and you insert it in, and then stamp them with the beads and buttons to make them all authentic. So they look like they're medieval. And that's why, hence I have the medieval designs. So that area there will be painted black. And
okay.
So these are all started samples. And eventually it will be to that quality.
That's beautiful.
Right? And there's so much you can do. You can do animals on that. You can do elk, forests, mountains, everything. And I have the tools to stamp it. And for 2 years, I couldn't do it because it was affecting my heart, because I was having a heart attack every time I was pounding at the leather, because it goes right through you. Now that I have the ability back again, thank you to God, I can do my leather work again. Sorry for crying.
So you're
But I give a lot of religious examples for Bible covers.
oh, beautiful. Oh, Manic, beautiful.
And they get better than that. I do Bible covers where they're grapevines. And you know all the twists and the turns of the grapevine. I stamp them out like a piece of artwork without even drawing it. It comes to my ability. And I do all the vines and the grapes like they're 3D. And that takes me thousands of hours of work. And what I imagine when I'm doing my artwork is what journey that has taken to twist and turn around the wires and the stumps, and where that vine has taken its journey to grow that way. And that's what I see when I do my artwork. So I'm actually seeing the artwork grow.
4x4.
People that experience this understand. And I have now the ability to talk to people that are sculptors, and they tell me they can hear that sculpture talk to them.
Sure.
When I was a stonemason and I did granite, I could hear the stone. Every time I hit the stone, I could hear it talk to me. And I was able to shape and carve beautiful works of art out of a solid piece of granite. You can actually, every strike of the hammer, you can hear a true stonemason. They have told me, you can hear the stone sing. And it is so true. The nature, you can hear it in your ear. It's like when you're a great musician, you can hear all the music happening in your head. And that's why the great composers can hear that. That's why they're prodigies. I could hear the stone ring. I could tell every time I struck the hammer whether that was going to break off in the wrong place or not.
I was told once, Manic, that a lot of sculptors, they told me that when they go to take the stone away, right, to get the marble or whatever they're working with, that the piece is already there. They're just clearing the other stuff away, right? Because it's already there.
Well, I'll give you the basics. When you're doing drawing or sketching, when you put your pencil to the paper, I can see that pencil mark already from point A to point B before I've even delivered that stroke.
Yeah,
I can see it before I even get my pencil. I can see it before I get my pencils out.
Yeah.
So as soon as I put that pen there, all of a sudden something takes over and it goes to point B. And you're thinking, you amaze yourself. Well, that's exactly how I wanted that. Bring it on. And then before you know it, it's 3 days later.
And I got to tell you, I'm going to bring it around to drones a little bit, because we have a lot of creative people who are building their drones and stuff. They're seeing those drones before they're building it, right? They know oh my gosh, that tree is beautiful.
That's my first piece that I ever did.
Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy good. But I think
that was freehand without seeing a picture. That was freehand before I even seen a picture. It was all in my head. Anyway, you want to talk about drone stuff now, yeah?
Just a little bit. I just wanted to say that I think that it was amazing to me that the kind of brain you need to be able to build, to be able to create. And it doesn't matter what kind of artwork you're doing, but the creation of it is the thing. It's the creating.
I've noticed on this now that I've discovered drones, and all I seen before was the Ken Heron, all drone worship, all the rest of them, right? But I've actually seen now with the creators here on YouTube, and most of them, 90% of them are here in the Drone Hub, is the art doesn't just stop and start at building a drone. It's connecting that wire. It's connecting that solder. It's the ability to be able to do that. But then it's done in like whether you want to do photography, the art that's involved in doing that, piecing the video together, doing what Jagger Scott does.
Oh my gosh, he's
And
just
then you get your sky, you get your FPV pilots. They're going up buildings and whizzing down and going free falling. That is a visual art on its own, because we're in an electronic age here. Let's get our pens and pencils out, but let's get our electronic ability out and do some art in other ways in our drones. That's the sort of art that I'm going to be doing in the future. Believe me, I know all the ability of how to piece video together because, like I said, you ain't seen nothing yet. I have it all in my head because I've been a film critic. I actually used to work on film sets, and I met Russell Crowe, and I've had a drink with him.
I like
and
Russell
he is a very, very nice person. Spite of what all the people have said, some people that are haters, well, after all, we have haters here on YouTube, right? He is a nice person. And when I tell people I've had a drink with Russell Crowe, well, they say, did you have tea and did you have a cup of tea with the Queen? I said, no, not yet. So I just laughed at him.
That will come. It's not yet, but it'll come. I think, one of the, I've watched Jagger Scott. I've watched a lot of the guys on here. Beautiful, beautiful cinematography. And then when I was thinking really art, I watched Mrs. K fly, and the music she picked for her flight of her as a racer drone. Oh my gosh, it brought tears to my eyes. It was so, so beautiful. And some of the flights our guys do now, they are doing them they are absolutely, absolutely beautiful. I just want to remind everyone, no politics, just throwing it out there. But yeah, she did a beautiful job. Oh, that's lovely.
That's my scribble art. I do these paintings in 10 minutes. I go through 3 stages. I use Sharpie pen, watercolors, Sharpie pen, and then watercolor pencils. So I can create these pieces of artwork in 10 minutes.
There we go.
So I'll be doing these artworks on YouTube and showing off my ability how you can do what great works of art in 10 minutes.
Nice.
Most of these artworks can take a day, but I can do them in 10 minutes with 3 easy lessons.
Very nice. Very nice. Okay, yes, work miracles with the anxiety, all kinds of things. Big Pharma hates it. Aerobatic bullet ballet. Hey, you know what? I'm hearing you, love my drones. I'm hearing you, Ed. So, orange Coca-Cola. Tell me it's not true.
Yes.
No orange.
And it's sugar-free. And it's sugar-free.
Oh,
No
so here's a question from Paul Murray. Question: does Trevor have an emotional attachment with his tools or his drones? I have. See them as an extension of myself, not just as an inanimate machine.
Exactly. They are an extension to my body. If I could use my mouth or any other orifice to hold them, I wouldn't care. My mother taught me when she was an artist, she was a really good artist here in Australia, even with her 20-plus kids. She'd use anything to form her great works of art. She'd use Vegemite. She'd use anything that she could put her hands on if she couldn't afford paint. She'd use a stick to paint with and smash the end of it to make a brush. She'd use feathers. Some of the things, the skills that she taught me as a young age, I will be developing and showing you and doing YouTube tutorials for those who are willing to watch that stuff. And it's not for everyone. It's maybe not for drone people, but drones are only part of my life. I'll be doing tech tutorials on all sorts of things. I mean, you might see Drone Worship as quite a technical guy, and I love everything he does. Well, not, how would I put it? I have the ability to be able to match him, and I will. And I don't want it to be a challenge. I want it to be something that something else to offer. Because
Right.
I'm
And
not here for
I would think Drone Worship would be the first to agree that he's been a long
I agree too.
on the technical side, but everyone can get there. They just have to want to get there and be really great with delving into all the technical parts of it. I think that when you have a mind that's shooting off everywhere, right? And I think that's what happens with artists and creative and musicians and things like that, that technical is important, but everything takes on importance. Every different aspect of the art that you're doing. I mean, I've seen Ed's flights. Ed is just out of this world right now on his flights. And I think he's done really, I think he shows that, he started off here and he's all the way up here now. And it just his technical ability and all that other stuff grew, but you have to want that, right? So, yeah, I think people can catch up with Drone Worship as far as his technical, but he was the one willing to do it, and he's there now, but we can all do it if we want. You have to want.
And he's had to learn to cope with all the haters and everything. And I take my hat off to him. I hope I can cope and achieve all my goals with all those issues as well. Because when you start doing something right, it's like you said, Val, when you end up getting your first troll, you're doing something right.
Right.
And you said that to me. They start getting jealous, don't they, Roger? Yeah. Roger's growing a great channel, and guess what happens? Out comes the trolls.
Yeah.
That's for Roger, it's me, because I've been known to have magic fingers. I love whack-a-troll. So I'm like,
magic fingers.
Come in, my loves.
I used to be an actor. I used to be an actor, do cabaret performances. You know that, Val? And they had to do happy hands.
Right. It did bother me the first time I got a troll. And it really bothered me. And then I realized they're just in their basement waiting for someone to aggravate. And if I
just need a hug,
then that's
they need a big hug.
They need a big hug. But I love whack-a-troll. And I don't think sometimes they'll come back and they'll dislike the video. But a lot of times they're having about as much fun as we are kicking them out. And that's what I'm assuming.
I got my first troll that I had. He's no longer a troll. He said some bad stuff to me. And then I says, I'm really, really sorry. How can I help and how can I change? How can I offer something that you would enjoy or want to learn how to do? And you know what he did? He come back and said to me, really quietly, I could hear his voice, even though that it was imaginary. And he was saying, I heard him say to me, I would really like you to teach me how to mix colours. So his first lesson was he wants me to teach him how to mix colours from your three primary colours, which is blue, yellow and red. So he wants to learn how to paint. I can even turn the trolls around. I have that ability. So if you've got that ability, not saying every troll's going to be a happy ending, but right. I was able to convert my first troll.
Right. I think when they come on and they're just being negative, that's one thing. I think when they come in and they're really like, you know what I mean? They right off the bat, they tell you they've been with your mama. You know, those guys, I'm not going to convert them. I'm just walking them out of there.
What I say is, well, if that's the case, who's my daddy? I
kind of love it. I was happy. I went on Roger Stream, of course, really my first time back of being on for a long amount of time. And the first thing happened was a troll, and I was like, yay, I still got it because my fingers start to tingle. Before they come in, I'm like, why have my fingers tingling? I start looking through the thing. It's whack a troll time. So it doesn't bother me now. I think
No.
that, when I don't get dislikes, I'm looking around going, well, what happened here? Because normally you get enough attention, you get a few, but sometimes I don't, and that's just how that works. And then I'm just like, oh, okay, well,
That's exactly right.
yeah. But I think that it's that negative piece. If you allow it to be negative and allow it to snowball in your life, then you're not going to get too far. You have to be able to push all that stuff away. And I'm learning that every day. I learn it more and more every day. And when I don't, God sends me a lesson, and then I have to really try to learn it better.
Well,
Yeah.
believe me, I've had my ups and downs, and I've had to the stages where I've wanted to end my life, and I'll tell anyone that. Doesn't mean I'm queer and I'm unstable. I can still go into a bank without wanting to hold it up. I can still go into a schoolyard and not have any bad feelings towards the teachers. So there must be something going right in my life, even though that I've had some really down days. It doesn't mean that you're a weirdo. It just means you're in control of your life at that time. Because, like I said on Sean on Mr. Crowley's show, I love guns, and so does Star Cop, and so does a lot of other people. And that's rare for people here in Australia because it's against the law. But I've always had I've loved guns right from a kid. I used to make guns. I used to build them. I've got friends that make guns for target shooting. And I finally found a friend at poker that I can relate to. And now we're sending us YouTube things in the email of different gun clubs and different YouTube gun shooting programs. And he was in the closet for so long because people that if he ever said, I like guns, they'd look at him really weirdly because for so long general public of Australians don't have guns. And so he's found a friend now that because like I said, I built guns right from the stock to the barrel to everything because I was really good in metal classes and woodworking. I've been a cabinet maker. I excelled at welding, all sorts of crafts, everything I've picked up. I think I must be autistic or something, even before my mental problems that I've had, because I've always done things erratic. I've never stopped. I've always just, even with anything I do with baking or cooking, I go that extra level. Like, for example, when I was up at this Shell Roadhouse, which is a gas service station,
Right.
and my first night at the counter, and this blind guy come up to me, and he was coming across a busy highway, trucks going up and down the highway, passing, and he's crossing the highway, and I can see him out the window, and he's got his white cane, and I'm thinking, oh my God, this is like Frogger, you know, the old computer game with the Frogger going across the highway. Well, this guy was Frogger, and that's his name he got stuck with. And he had a sense of humour. He loved the name. And he come up to the counter, and I had all these other people behind me because I always got the worst shifts because I had a reputation for selling. And obviously the company wanted me to make sales. So I always got the busy shifts. So he came up, and he obviously knew the boss for some time. And I recognised that, but it was the first time that him and I met. And I knew he couldn't see. I didn't know who he was. I just understood what his situation was. right from seeing 5 minutes of him. And I said, what would you like, buddy? I go, because what the idea is you don't patronise a person. You don't go up to them, oh, how are you today? Or you talk down to them. You treat them with dignity. Treat them like a person. So I said, what do you want today, buddy? And he says, I'd like a Coke and something else and something else. I said, just wait there. I'll get it for you. He said, no, I can Coke. I said, I know that, buddy. I said, but I want to go and get the gear for you in case the boss has played a trick on you and changed all the shelves around. And he says, he's likely to do that to you. So I ran over, got him his Coke, got his chips or whatever, and I said, here, buddy, this will be such and such and such and such. And when he opened his purse, says, yep, that's a 5, that's a 10 or whatever in numeracy of the money selection. And I said, I would never rip you off, buddy, you know that. And he said to me, I can tell that right from the start.
Right. I am sorry. While this was happening, Roger asked me to take Kim's wrench away. Yes, it's crazy. I didn't know why, so I took it away, and I was going to go. I did. I said, why did I take it away? Next thing you know, Roger kicked Kim out. Why did we kick Kim out? So Roger.
Yeah, he's been bugging everybody since a while ago. Like, where dare you? Whack me. Where dare you? Take me out. Take me out. So I took him out.
Oh, you've taken Kim out. I haven't been watching the chat.
I was listening, Manic, and I feel like I don't mean any
Oh.
I turned around and out he is. He's just out. I'm just like, where did he go? Where did he go?
He's on timeout.
Yeah, I'll get it back to you soon. Soon as your 300 seconds are up. How did it feel, Kim? How did it feel? You should come down and tell us. We wanted to know how it feel.
Oh, no, he asked for it. Sorry, but he asked for it.
Cool. This is what makes this channel, this is what makes Canadian Drone Hub and your channel, is that we can still have fun behind the scenes and it's still done respectfully. And
Yes.
that's what we need to do.
I'm hoping Kim realizes I did it respectfully. I took it away.
It's also dimensions of having a good time.
Oh, Manic. You know, Manic, I am so happy you came on with me tonight.
Because I'm going to be building drones, because I've got a drone project, because I know it sounds like I'm blowing my trumpet, I'm blowing my own horn again.
Go
I
ahead.
was very good at electronics. I invented at the time a camera operated spy cam. And I did that in electronics, and I had to study how to do it. And I put the pieces together from studying it, and I was able to do a spy cam before they were even on the market. They might have been invented, but they weren't for the general market, like we have for like babysitters and stuff. I made one of them when I was only 13 years of age. So I know how to do all the soldering and all the bits and pieces. I'm already at head start of all that. So I want to build a drone that I can have on a blow-up drone. It's going to be done in cushions that are filled with helium air. So it's going to be filled with helium. It's going to be shaped in a drone, like similar to a DJI drone. And I want it to have drone capabilities as well. I want to have motors, headless motors and all the rest of the technology that I'm picking up and I'm learning from the experts. Once I get all that information together, that I will be advertising and showing off my craft to YouTube.
Very nice.
And I think it will create a bit of a stir. I will be doing it as well in a joint effort with the people that I do the shop with, where I go down to the lake every morning to take my dog and my drone and my camera, and we go down there and fly. I haven't even taken any footage of any photos from my drone yet. The reason is I want to learn how to fly it really well, and it's taken me a big task to do so. It took me a long time to get through the DJI bullshit of how to calibrate your drone. Gee, that was a headache alone. I just couldn't work it out. It took me a task, but once I've done it, now my drone flies beautifully. Now I've done that. Now I'm going on to how to do the photos. I want to achieve photos the same caliber as Jagger Scott. What I want to do is I'm using my lake as my tool and my backdrop. Then I'll go to the next town and then the next town, and that's what I want my van for, so I can film all my towns all around my Australia, around my river system, to show the world what we have to offer. That's one aspect of how I want my channel to grow, but to give something back to the community. Because everything I do for myself, I still do for everyone else. That is who I am, and that is what I do. And I can't do anything else but that. If you know what I've put into the community, the voluntary work, the amount of hours I spent volunteering as a stonemason on our local museum and learning the trade as you go along of picking up the old-fashioned ways of doing things, because the old-fashioned ways of building has been lost for hundreds of years. I had to go online and study how the old stonemasons of England and Germany and that have done it, because we have very few structured buildings of 100 years or more, and each building has been done in the style of buildings of their towns. And a lot of the buildings were governed by what money was available, what resources was available, and what they could afford. The only reason England and Germany and all those places are able to afford to do big structures that lasted for hundreds of years, because they had the money behind them. They had the money from the kings and queens and the soldiers that would rape and pillage to get that gold, to create the money to pay the people and the stonemasons to do it. If the money ran out, that history became lost. There was no stonemasons available. That's why a lot of things, stonemasons and whatnot, have formed a creed, and that's why they wanted to continue their trades on throughout the decades and throughout the 100 years. And it's lost here in Australia. There's only probably a very small percentage of stonemasons that of my calibre that can build buildings out of raw material. We don't have stonemasons anymore. They're lost. They're getting people from England and UK and Germany for tradesmen here. But
right.
now they're developing
they call them artisans. When they go back and they do that work that used to be done, they're artisans now.
Yes.
It's all considered such an art, isn't it? Everything goes back to that. That's
why I bloomed, and that's why I'll give you one example. When I was working for a monumental business, it was opportunity. My life is always built on opportunity. Yeah. I take the opportunity, and once I get it, I run with it. One day, my boss had to go and do some quotes for some other jobs. And this was before I was into advertising and cold calling, where I used to ring up people and ask them if they wanted a monument made. He eventually realised I had that talent. And so I used to do all the sales in the end. But in the early days, he had to do the sales. So he went to Clare, which is a small town, and he waited till the clientele built up so he could go and spend an hour to each client, because it was cost effective. So great. I had him out for the day because he could be very annoying. And because we used to chase each other around and nothing would get done, because he'd want to and then I'd chase after him and want to bash the hell out of him, because we'd fight and all the rest of it, but fun. We just had games, all right? And he used to get scared of me because I was very strong lad. He reckons I was retarded. Anyway, and we used to banter about this all the way along. So anyway, I was so relieved, and I did all my chores because you got to do the sweeping in the morning, and you got to clean the workshop. You got to keep everything clean underfoot. It's important because you never know when you're going to get a client come in. And so I'd done everything, and I thought, there's 9 jobs to be done. I'm thinking, right, which one should I do? I had to shape all the headstones and do all the inscriptions and all. Not me. This is what needed to be done by him. I hadn't shaped a headstone yet. I hadn't done the inscriptions yet.
Wow.
9 hours passed, and guess what happened? I lined these 9 headstones up. I shaped the headstones on the trestles and everything, and hammered and chiseled them until the shape, did the stencil, marked them out, hammer and chisel, did the shape, whether they were rock edge, whether I had to grind them down to a smooth surface and bevel the edges, and then line them up as I did 9 at a time, one after another. I did these 9 headstones from start to finish. And he came back 9 hours later. He was gobsmacked. He said to me, Trevor, do you realise how many years of study and trade, my apprenticeship I had to do? I had to do 7 years of studying this craft and 2 years of theory. I had to at a young age, go to another state and country to learn the craft from other people. And all of a sudden you've learned off of everything you've been learned and taught was watching me from day to day, not even asking questions, just watching while I'm busy toiling away, sweeping the floors, doing this, doing that, and watching him do the craft. And silently, I witnessed this, and then I went and did it. And from then on, I did all the monuments from that time on. I did the monuments from start to finish and installing them. And then he then gave me the trade because then I had to spend the 7 years to do that and to get the trade at the end of the day. And while I was doing that, I was managing chicken farms, as well as I was a bar manager at a local social club. I was bar manager and cook there as well, holding those jobs at the same time.
Well, that's a lot. Okay, guys. So I need to take a quick break.
Go for it.
That whole setup. And Roger, can you take over for me?
Yeah, sure. No
Okay,
problem.
now I gave Kim back his mod. He didn't like it in the dark.
How you going, Kim?
Tech Core, how you doing, my friend? Long time no see. Paul Murray's in the house. Love my drones. Yeah, we love my drones. We really like hitting Kim out of there. That's for sure. He asked for it. How long have you been doing the leather work?
10 years or more.
Okay. Where I used to work before, there's a guy who used to do leather work. He used to be really, really good at it. He had a cereal policy.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. He was in a wheelchair, and he has a computer in front of him, and he was working always on his leather, making leather belts, leather straps, and everything. And he was really, really good at it. Really good.
Yes.
It's a trade.
And, it is. I think it's a gift as well, because there's people out there that when I did workshops with, some of them just didn't have the ability, but that was all good. They bought stamps, and they had stamps that were already made that they could hammer in and make little designs, and they could still do leather crafts in, like, they could still do handbags, and they could do belts and just stamp the stamp all the way along. Yeah. Well, with mine, without tripping over my craft box, I have hundreds and hundreds, thousands and thousands dollars worth of these tools, and I just slowly save up for them at $3 to $5 a pop. So
I know,
I've-
I know the kid, the guy that
So
where I used to work. Yeah, that's what he uses. Yeah, that's what he used.
And instead of using stamps, so this is my rock design. This is how I do all the rocks.
Okay.
And you've got to imagine I'm doing each little dot.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest one, but you can have then the smallest ones, the size of them, where they're all do rock texture.
Yeah.
And so you pick out your 5 chisels that you may need to use to do a work of art. And
Yeah.
each texture on the end of the chisel can be, say, the size of this point. And
Okay.
so all you do is hammer every individual part. So instead of using a paintbrush or a pencil, you're
Yeah.
using a chisel and you just mark. And what you do is often it just comes out of my brain. See,
Yeah.
I do a lot of doodling where I do drawings that come from my brain and I just allow it to spread and migrate over the page
Yeah.
when I do it, and I do it with Sharpie pen. And so when you do it with Sharpie pen, you can't make mistakes because you just turn your mistakes into works of art.
Yeah.
I always teach my students that there's no mistakes. You can always paint over it or you can develop it into something else.
Yeah.
What they do is they get themselves in such a flap when they're new at it. Oh, this is terrible. And they get themselves in such a state of emotion of, I can't do this, and they want to throw it away in the first 5 minutes.
Okay.
It'd be too hard for them.
Mm.
What I do is I show them little steps because I have a learning teaching degree in the way that I have 3 levels of teaching. I do it visually. I show them how to do it.
Yeah.
I allow them to read how to do it, like theory-wise, look in books or whatever aids that you do.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, get them to do it themselves.
Okay.
You get them to experience it themselves because everyone has different ways of learning. And you need to capture those 3 ways so you never miss one out. So you never miss that person that needs the theory. Because you might have someone like Mr. Graphics. He might be the theory guy, say, for example. So I may have to do a tech video for him. Well, then I might have to have Mr. Crowley, and he hasn't got the patience to learn that because I've seen his artwork.
Mm-hmm.
And he might not have the patience, so I have to actually show him how to do it or show some pictures. So you've got to work at their level. If, as a teacher, I fail at that, well, they're not going to enjoy what they're doing. The joy that you see on their face at the end of a session where they go home and they go and show their friend and they're proud of their art. And before that, they thought they couldn't draw. And they go to their friend and say, look what I've created. And I never did it, they did it. It's because I've had the heart to show them and teach them in a way that you're not judgmental. Everything they do is a work of art.
Mm-hmm.
I learned so much of people's mistakes when I see YouTube videos of art. And I'm yelling at the screen. I'm saying, stop. Do you know how beautiful that is already? And you're just going to ruin it because they add more paint to it. They add this to it. And they've already got a work of art, but they don't have the ability to see it.
Yeah.
And I'm yelling at the TV and they can't hear me. And I'm thinking, man, if they only had stopped, because you can overdo it. And then all of a sudden you see the growth of their YouTube career. And now when you see them after 5 months, how far they've come. Now they were only on 200 and something subscribers. Well, guess how many subscribers they've got in 5 months after persistent working at it. There's one lady on there now has got 87,000 subscribers, and she has started her YouTube in 5 months, the same time as I have. And all she does is art tutorial after art tutorial and never got phased. And what she did is the hard yards. She'd do 100 pieces of art at a time, and she'd go down to the fair. She'd load up her van and trailer. In fact, her husband would load up his car her van, and a trailer and a horse float. And
Wow.
they'd fill up all their art gear, because you've got to imagine you've got to have your marquee, your tables to set up, your trestles, your everything to set up, and it takes you hours to do so you could sell your art. Well, you should have seen her. She sold her first piece of art and the enjoyment she got out of it. She wasn't worried about the 100 and something pieces that she yet to sell. All she was worried about was her one piece. Well, that's how I feel. And that's why I can sell 101 at the end of the day. Because if what I do is I treat that 101th piece of artwork the same enjoyment I got out of selling that first one.
Mhm.
So,
And
guys,
and that's why it's tremendous.
I just want to say, I'm going to have to go really soon, but I wanted to go longer than normal because we got a slow start. So I wanted to get Manic a lot of the time just for us to really get to know him on a deeper level. And I think we've done that. But Manic, I think I'm going to ask you to come back. I'm going to ask you to interview you again in a month or two to see where you've gotten to, because it's fascinating how well you've done in your mind, how you are making this happen for yourself with everything else. I mean,
And this is only a small part of it, because I haven't even touched on when I was in hospital and what the things that I had to cope with to get out of there.
Right. So we have more to talk about.
I'll save that for the next time.
Yes.
Because I didn't think I was coming out of hospital for the rest of my life.
Right.
And I proved them wrong. Might have taken me 2 years, but I could have been there for the rest of my life. And we'll leave it on that, so there's more for people to want to see.
There is more. There is more. You are quite the man. Guys, and I want to say, whether you were coming in, going out, or somewhere in between, if you hit that like for me, I sure appreciate it. Just hit it and let it, you're so sweet.
$20 more from Paul Murray's travel fund.
That's I can feel it in my hand.
Oh my God.
I'm going to beat Kim like all the jujubes out of him soon. Can I get a leather strap from you so when I meet Kim, it will be good? No. Yes, Russ, we're still on. We were just, I think we're at a stopping point for the interview, and then we're going to have to pick it back up in about a month and go further in another deep dive, because there's so much we just still don't know.
Yes. Val, if you could do what Cav 7 did with his visits to with say Green Bay Wacky and that, where he did a video. Are you able to do a video? Is there a possibility?
Oh yes.
Of when you come and visit Roger and Kim, that'd be really great, because that will actually make the channels grow even more. Because once someone asked Lady Diana, you know who Lady Diana is, right?
Yeah.
The Princess of England. Someone asked her one day, what novels do you like to read? And you know what her answer to that person was in the interview? I like to read what the other half lives. And they paused and they said to her, do you realise, Diana, but you are the other half? And it's so true, because we think that we're all up in our high ivory castles, but people like to see how everyone else lives, and then they realise their lives aren't so shitty after all. They're just living life, and if they just put a smile on their face at the end of the day, imagine how good their life can be from day to day. And that's what I do every day. I thank God. First time I breathe, I thank God I'm alive. And like I quoted, how can we expect world peace if we can't get on with our neighbours? It's got to start from the next person, your next door neighbour, the next person in the street, so on and so on. if we can't get along with the next person, how can we expect world peace?
Right.
And I'll end that on that.
Thank you. Thank you, Manic Magic. Hey, Night Train Choo Choo. So I'm really, yeah, Kim. Yeah, that's right. I'm gonna just knock the jujubes out of you with my leather thing when I see you. That's just what I'm gonna do. You know that. So I think that I'm gonna get my passport and then I'm start working on my ticket, and I'm gonna get out to see Roger and Kim for sure. The baby in his bath. Oh, nice, Russ. Oh, hey, Night Train, my friend. So anyway, we've been interviewing tonight Manic Magic and his creative side, which is all sides of him. And thank you guys so much for coming in. I so appreciate it. You should be scared, Kim. Yeah, I just appreciate all of it. Shut up, baby time. I know, I need to see the baby. I love babies. Oh,
Who's
somehow
you got to see? Oh, Northwest. How you going, buddy? I like him. He's a good bloke. We
he's
say
very
bloke in
good.
Australia. He's a really good person.
Somehow my chat got really big, so it's hard to read. Hold on. I have to make it small again. Or I won't be able to see anything.
Shots. You're not
There we go.
drone shots. You're not talking political, are you? You know Roger's #1 rule. No politics.
Don't forget, everybody, tomorrow morning it's Val doing the live stream for me because I'll be going to the hospital for treatments and, for tests.
Thank
So
you.
everybody check out Val tomorrow morning for a live stream. She
Yes.
will be in my place.
I'll be on at 7 o'clock my time, which is 6 o'clock Russ's time, which is 9 o'clock Roger's time. That doesn't confuse you. And I can't wait to get on and see everybody in the morning. And then you'll be so happy because Roger will be back the next day. And thank you so much, TechCorp, for saying that. I feel a lot better than I was feeling. I was pretty sick there for a while.
Mhm.
I had to get it in drone shots. What am I going to do with you? Oh, but I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much. And Manic, thank you so much for gracing my channel with your presence and your creativity. I so appreciate you. And I love you.
Thank you very much.
I love you guys. And we'll see you next time. You have a great, great night, okay? Okay. Love you all.
Bye, everybody. Bye.